Check, check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, the book I'm reading from, once again, I'm gonna share this section out of it about accessing a God form. All right, so it says, to gain access to a God form, it is necessary to first do a formal practice of invoking and contacting the archetype. This formal practice will give us the experience of being that God form with all of its powers and abilities, and it gives us an opportunity to ask the archetype to be part of our spiritual practice. The formal process is actually very simple and straightforward, but it can be difficult if you aren't used to working with divine archetypes. For many of us, modernity teaches us that imagination is dangerous and not to be trusted. If you can hold in your mind that you are doing a practice that is designed to awaken your divinity within you by connecting with the divinity of tradition, you can quiet the inner warnings of cultural taboo. As Lon Milo Duquette reminds us, it's okay to pray. It's fine to feel reverence for these archetypes that represent our highest ideals. You are not worshiping a false idol. Rather, you are seeing the infinite in a single expression that you can comprehend. Since you are the creator dreaming a life as a human, it's okay to dream you are Zeus or Ganesha for a bit. And yes, it is a lot of fun. First, think of a divine being you can feel real reverence and respect for. Better yet, find one you can love intensely. This is a very important part of your spiritual journey. Choosing a vision of the divine that you can feel real awe and love for is important, as all spiritual growth and even mundane growth is powered by the emotion of love. Let me repeat that. As all spiritual growth and even mundane growth is powered by the emotion of love. Anything you love to do, you will eventually do well. By forming a loving connection with some vision of the divine, you set up sort of a feedback loop where the love you send is returned at a higher frequency. By forming a loving connection with some vision of the divine, you set up a sort of feedback loop where the love you send is returned at a higher frequency. This love loop is important as it forms the basis of all our spiritual practices. As Aleister Crowley famously said, love is the law, love under will. Our will must be directed by our capacity for feeling love. First, feel love specifically, and then generally. Find the divinity within, and you are on your way to meeting your holy guardian angel. If you can see divinity within another person, then you will fall in love. Find the divinity with all creation, and you are on your way to enlightenment. In Buddhism, there's a similar concept. Bodhicitta is a Sanskrit word for awakening mind. It represents cultivating wisdom and compassion for all sentient beings. Without it, we can become lost in a meaningless state of existence. Your chosen God or other being can be from any pantheon, culture, or time in history. You can change your archetype later so feel free to experiment. We suggest that it not be a character from modern fiction. Let me say it again. We suggest that it not be a character from modern fiction, a comic book, or anime. The archetype should be considered sacred in order to have that deep link to the collective unconscious. But it is up to you. Success will be your indication that you are on the right track. Once you choose your archetype, research them. There is much information online now that should be easy. Find out what they like, stories about them, what things they rule, and any poetry or invocations that are traditionally used to call or worship them. Get to know them. The Greek gods are easy if you are just starting to work with archetypes. There is a wealth of information available online to begin your research. For example, the Orphic hymns, which are 87 hymns to the Greek gods from the 5th century, can be found online. If you wanted to commune with Jesus, then perhaps read Matthew 5:3 through 12. The 8 Beatitudes, Matthew, or whatever that says. You need some really inspiring words and to speak them with emotion. This practice requires that you really feel and emote in order to call forth the archetype. In the Temple of Limitless Light, we start people out with Maya. She is a great goddess to start with because she represents the universal quality of order and balance. We also have a public ritual on the fall equinox where we invoke Mayat since the sun is moving into Libra. Having Mayat on your side as you go into spiritual practices that can potentially be unbalancing is a great idea. Don't worry about mixing the Egyptian gods found in these rituals with the god from another pantheon because within the sacred space, everything is sacred and worthy. If you want to rewrite the Rose vortex to fit your favorite pantheon, then please do. Alright, so whatever you might have got from that, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm out.